what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show. One last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Arwin, 10th Man, Sleeping Warrior, Paul Hall, and a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome one and all.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Hey Nathan, we have a request from Rumpus. He can't get in Discord. He's dying to get in and tell you how stupid you are for Gas Go Down Go Boom Boom, but it's full. Any chance you could kick somebody or get someone to drop so that he can join?
Absolutely not. Any evidence of Earth curvature, formerly known as the geometric horizon?
Not from the British Grand Prix.
Maybe Rumpus has some.
Rumpus is surplus to requirements.
I know, but I like him coming in and getting kicked for being an idiot.
Oh, right, you just want to see him humiliated.
I just want to see. I've got bets on you see with different people for how long he can last before he gets kicked. I've got him down as less than 2 minutes.
I don't care. Sorry. He's got nothing to offer. We don't need him for anything at the moment, unless you know different.
I just want to hear his explanation for Gas Go Down Go Boom Boom. He thinks that Thunderfoot's correct. And I'm like, that's contrary to his normal position, that Thunderfoot is... Well, his normal position is that gas would fill the container. But he's now saying that Gas Go Down Go Boom Boom. That's a shift in his paradigm shift. So I'd like to hear why.
No worries. You just need to show us gas pressure without a container. So we've had Earth curvature. Let's have that question straight off the bat. Any evidence that you can have gas pressure, that's gas pressing, without something for it to press upon? That's a container. Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without a container? Has Rumpus got a demonstration in this violation of natural law? Has he got that?
Well, there's no way to demonstrate this.
Just look down from a plane, Nathan. You can see all the atmospheric gases are all pooling on the Earth at the bottom, right?
Oh, right.
That will be your demonstration of gas pressure without a container.
No. How would we acquire said gas pressure in the first instance without a container? That assertion that that gas pressure is uncontained stands in violation of the natural law called the second law of thermodynamics. Inviolable. If this black area on screen right now was a 10 to the minus 17 torr vacuum, then all of this gas would fill this space. It's called entropy.
But for some reason, Nathan, it pools on the surface. Why
No, it does not.
That?
You will not show me a demonstration of gas pooling on the top of a pond requiring skimming off the top surface. That does not happen.
But what about the mist? The mist in the morning. You know, sometimes a layer of mist.
I do see Rumpus in. Let's see if he can contribute successfully like an adult. Are you there, Rumpus?
Oh gosh!
My
answer answered this. The British Grand Prix, the tires were blowing out. The gas didn't go down. Boom.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, the gravitational force of the brake discs or the hub on the wheel is not sufficient to attract the gas, so you wouldn't expect it to. You only get gravitational attraction when you have a really, really, really big thing like the Earth that's pulling on the gas molecules.
What's gravity?
Gravitational attraction. You can't. Gravitational attraction doesn't attract anything. It's an effect.
All forces are effects.
Why does everyone in G Plus sound like they're in a bathroom? Is it just me?
All of them.
Sounds like you're in a bathroom, Anthony. Are you in a bathroom?
Sounds like he's in a jail cell.
It's what, sorry?
He does sound...
I've got 3 people talking to me.
Nobody's talking to you. I'm talking to Sleeping Warrior. Why do you sound like you're in a bathroom? What's that? What's going on?
Oh, is it? Have I changed my microphone somehow?
Sounds terrible.
You do sound terrible,
leave that with me.
Anthony.
So you've asserted that we've got gravitational attraction. So gravity's a bending of a conceptual medium known as pseudo-Riemannian force space.
It's also a force.
No, it's not. Gravity...
Yes, it is.
Sorry, I'll just try and respond. Let's see how quickly I get interrupted. I'll quote Brian Cox. Quote, gravity is not really a force at all. End quote. Also, George Musa. Gravity is not a force. But you can think of it as a force. It's not a force. It's not holding gas. And if you assert that it is, I'm going to need to see you show me conceptual mediums holding gas pressure without a container. Can you demonstrate it? Don't need a description.
Right,
You need to show me.
30 seconds after George Musa made that comment, he then said, it has to be treated as a force, and I do treat it as a force. And Brian Cox didn't say it, and he used the phrase there, not really. And the reason is, of course, because you don't understand that gravity is an umbrella term for two things.
Ad hoc me. I asked for a demo. Don't ad hoc me. Don't tell me what I don't understand. Don't ad hoc me.
I'm telling you, you're interrupting me.
I'm telling you, don't ad hoc me.
Einstein thing.
This isn't going to get tolerated very long.
One is the space-time, and the second one is the Newtonian. Gravity is an umbrella term for 2 different things. One is the force of gravity, and the other one is the bending of space-time.
Okay, did you hear what I said? I asked you to show me this conceptual medium bending and containing gas with its not actual force. I want a demonstration, not a description from you. Show me.
So, sorry, are you asking me for the Einsteinian bending of space-time, or are you talking about the force of gravity?
I'll try once more. I'll try final time I'll try. Without a fundamentalist religious assertion, that would be you raising your arm to the sky.
Atom.
Sorry, I haven't finished talking. I haven't finished talking. Have I got to mute you? Have I got to mute you? I haven't finished talking. So, without you raising your arm, pointing to the sky and asserting your fundamentalist religious assertion about what you believe the sky to be. That's the second attempt. Mute him. I'll try again, see if he fucks off or sticks his fingers in his ears while he mutes me by talking through me. I'll try a third time. Without pointing to the sky and utilising a fundamentalist religious assertion that the sky is a vacuum, I would like a demonstration of this not actual force, a bending concept, maintaining gas pressure without a container. I'd like you to show me.
Well, it is an actual force. You can get on some bathroom scales and...
I don't want you to describe it. I'll say it again. I want you to show me, not describe it to
all
me.
the gas molecules in the atmosphere, and he's pulling it to the ground.
Don't describe it. Show me. Don't tell me what the atmosphere is doing. That's pointing to the sky with your fundamentalist religious belief about atmosphere, isn't it? Don't describe it. Show it me. Scales weigh solids.
They weigh gas as well.
Sorry, do they weigh them in a container?
Doesn't matter, still...
Sorry, it doesn't matter. Is that a yes? They do weigh them in a container. We're not getting very far when I get to a point that destroys your argument and you say it doesn't matter like the other funder you came on Friday. When I point out that you can't have Al Baruni measuring something you can't see, he says it doesn't matter. And now we're at the point that you're saying I need to look at a scale, and I'm asking, given that the question is regards to not having a container, if a scale would need a container, and you say it doesn't matter... You mean yes?
No, it doesn't matter.
Sorry.
No, it doesn't matter.
So when I ask for gas pressure without a container and you say scale, does it require a container? Doesn't matter. Yeah, it does. Because it requires a container.
Initially, we started talking off about how we demonstrate there's a force of gravity.
No, we asked for gas pressure without a container. You asserted that a not actual force, a bending concept, could hold gas pressure here. I asked you to demonstrate it. You said scale. And I said that would require a container. You said that wasn't important, so I have teabagged you. That's what's actually happened.
Let's take this in steps.
Okay, in steps. You got teabagged when you asserted that a scale was a demonstration of gas pressure without a container, and I asked, would that require a container? You said it didn't matter. It does matter. It matters because it requires a container, and the question is, how can you have gas pressure without a container? So it very much matters. It's my balls in your mouth, showing how stupid you are because you're not demonstrating gas pressure without a container in violation of natural law, Rumpus.
Any chance of me being able to respond?
You can suck on my balls while I explain that a scale would require a container. You can suckle on those balls while I teabag you with them. That's what you can do.
On here. Any slight chance of me being allowed to respond? Right.
You can suck on my bollocks. Your scale requires a container. Not doesn't matter, not moving on, not can I have a chance to speak. I heard your claim, then I stuck my bollocks in your mouth while you died on the ground, having been shot in the face by an assertion that you don't need a container, it doesn't matter, because you do require a container, and the question is how can you have gas pressure without a container, given that the heliocentric model has gas pressure without a container?
You can't debate, can you?
Sorry, I've just teabagged you. Can't debate. That's where you get lost. Telling me that I've lost and that I can't debate when I take your claim that you can show gas pressure without a container with a scale, and then I ask you if that needs a container and you tell me it doesn't matter. No, you can gag on my nuts, not tell me that I've lost, you pathetic twat. Now get nay fuck. Out you go, prick. He did really well, Anthony. Said you need a scale.
You know, I almost feel like I need to apologise for my learned friend's appearance.
Yeah, he did very badly.
You know exactly who was going to do that, Tony.
He did very badly. No. Shout out to Retro Bill. It says, good day, lads. NASA's Michelle Thaler said it's not okay to talk about flat Earth. So, I'll keep this comment short. Righto. Yeah, she's going to accuse you of wrong thing. That's right, Retro Bill.
Actually, he's misquoted her. What she actually said was, it's not okay to think that the Earth might be flat. Because I remember her saying it. It's like, I remember she saying it in that, like, absolute shockingly, like, disgusting tone. It's not okay to think that the Earth is flat. It's like, what?
I might release...
Well, just be careful. She's in the Space Hall of Fame now.
As it's dealing with this particular housekeeping question, I'll release my edited version of the live show from, I believe it was Friday. Anyway, it ended up taking about 40 minutes, maybe an hour, talking about Thunderfoot in various different parts of the show with various gaps and other subjects covered in between. So what I've done is I've edited out all of the non-Thunderfoot related stuff from that show and condensed it down to a shortened, maybe 2-minute version that just addresses the main points, addresses his most recent video done 3 or 4 days ago. So if you end up just watching the first 2 minutes, as some people do, then you'll get the broad strokes, and then you can see a condensed version of the full discussion, which is it still ended up being 28 minutes long. I thought I'll try and get it down to like 15 minutes. It ended up being 28 minutes long. Anyway, I'll release that probably sometime after this live show goes out. But that specifically addresses this housekeeping question that was just debated with Rumpus. And he got teabagged when he said scale and required containment to assert his downward vector of gravity. Yeah, that's where he lost. Of course, he asserted that I didn't know how to debate, having taken to pieces his claim and demonstrated it to be false. No, you cannot have gas pressure without a container in violation of natural law. Your only assertion would be to beg the question of a single downward vector, and if you assert it with with gas, you're going to require containment also. As was pointed out to Rumpus, his response being that doesn't matter. What, the end of your argument doesn't matter? Yeah, you can claim that, but you'll just be kicked out when you lose and have no humility and fail to actually acknowledge that I've defeated your argument. It's pathetic, loser. Go and moan on Jose's about how badly I did, right? That's what you typically do. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
They can't even define what it is, let alone demonstrate it. Rumpus still tells people that gravity's a force. It's like, what? I thought we had that concession a few ages ago, but now he's back to it. I think it's because he realises that his whole paradigm fails when he can't have Newton's apple accelerating without a force, because he hasn't got one anymore. He used to have one, but he doesn't have it anymore, and he hasn't got any alternative. So he has to revert back to the previous position, which is that gravity is a force, and we all know it isn't. I tell you what's also interesting.
Go on.
Just on a side note to that, I remind myself that only school children that go on to do college, then go on to university to study physics at undergrad level, only those select few get told the equivalence that gravity is not a force. Everybody else gets taught that it is a force. All your children are being lied to, guys. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, we're poisoned with the nonsense, and the nonsense will lumber you as a globehead making declarations of abject stupidity that get demolished and completely railroaded by flat earthers, leaving you with the only defence that we don't understand or you can't debate when you win. That's the best you've got when we pummel you. Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
No.
Nope.
Don't be shy in Discord.
Negative. I'm
Any
still
evidence?
recovering from Rumpus.
Have there been actual scientists that are like into physics that also have like astronomy hobbies on the side? But then maybe it's in an indirect way. Some of may have actually performed science, just not within their field.
Right, this is too irritating. I'm going to refresh. I'm going to disconnect and refresh from Hangouts because it's so irritating. It sounds like you're all in a bathroom.
Yeah, it must be you.
Oh,
Do I sound right to you guys?
yeah, sounds normal.
Oh, there we go.
No,
it
you
sound wrong
sound bad
before?
to me.
No, you sounded good before too.
There we go. Is that any better? Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Yeah, same.
I think what happened was it kicked
Better
me from
now.
the first. It kicked me from the first Hangout, but kept me connected, so I was actually technically in two Hangouts at the same time. I think that was the problem.
Ah.
Much better. Right, should we continue with housekeeping?
Yeah, go on then.
Did we do distance to the sun?
No.
Oh.
Again, distance to the sun's like one of those ones where you need a definition of the sun, because it's like, how do you know that the sun's a physical object that is capable of triangulation in the first instance? Because it appears to be metaphysical. It might not actually be physical. You know, it might not.
I'm sorry
be
to interrupt.
that is
I've got a phone call coming through, and it might be about my fridge that blew up. 10th, can you carry on with housekeeping?
Fridge blew up. What the fuck?
Oh yeah, I'll do it. No problem. All right, back to
Nathan seems to have some technical problems today.
No, you
Fridge
missed it,
blowing
Arvin. His fridge caught on fire on the weekend. That was on the pre-show. But let's move on with Sun. Go on, Anthony.
Fire? What?
It's see, me and Arwin don't always agree on everything, but on this topic, this one topic, I'm like, someone needs to prove that the sun is physical before we start considering the possibility that we can triangulate for it. Because the ballers say, yeah, well, if you triangulate it from more than 2 positions, 3 positions, that's impossible on a flat plane. That's also evidence that it's metaphysical. Because
Right,
if it doesn't try...
No, you're right. So the question is, any evidence to the distance, and you're saying there's no way to gain this distance unless...
No, there is no distance to gain. There is no distance. There
Yeah,
is
we
no
need to-
object to have a distance in the first place. It's just an apparition.
Because I remember when Sly did his observation
Hang
for
on,
the sun.
Sleeping Warrior, you sounded a lot like Arvin there.
Yeah, I like
That's pretty
it.
good.
I like it.
Yeah, I thought it was
You've
good
done
too.
well, my people.
You're
Sorry,
back
did
to
I
you,
answer
Nathan.
for him?
No,
Sorry,
you did
go on.
well.
Yeah. Back to you, Nathan, unless you want me to keep going.
No, I'm all good. It wasn't even the bloody fridge man. Not that this is relevant for a live show. I'm really sorry those watching live. I typically wouldn't do that. But yeah,
Well,
my fridge
I thought
exploded.
Sleeping Warrior's ventriloquist was pretty good.
Yeah, it was. It was very Arwen-esque. I liked it a lot. Any more for any more on the distance to the sun, or can we move on to Earth radius, the R value?
I quite like the distance to the sun argument. Go on then, move on to the Earth radius one. I'm going to go and get a quick coffee.
Oh, right. You're disappearing when it comes to the Black Swan.
No, because I know that other people want to have a talk, so I'll just go and make a brew.
Fair enough. Any evidence of the R value, Earth radius?
No. No, the black
Uh-huh.
swan took a big dump in that word soup.
Time to mention Mitchell from Australia again.
Yeah, we played out Mitchell from Australia's video in the pre-show. He did an exceptionally good job of debunking Simon Dan, who doesn't understand Coriolis effect. So Simon Dan has demonstrated on multiple occasions that he hasn't got a clue how the reference frames work with an Earth that's claimed to rotate underneath an inertial reference frame at 15 degrees an hour, causing things like bullets and balls to deviate. And Mitchell from Australia took Neil deGrasse Tyson's example of a ball being kicked and seeming to drift from the stands because Earth's rotating underneath it, and then Simon Dan's words were, "Oh no, it's not leaving the it's not leaving the non-inertial reference frame of an Earth that spins." It's like, well, then you don't have Coriolis effect. Not only that, if you're claiming that we're spinning underneath the stars, causing them to rotate, why would it be the case that you'd ever get a star rotation view from the ISS? All of these things are debunking the notion that we've got a spinning Earth. Welcome to Flat Earth. So big kudos and big props to Mitchell from Australia. I think I've still got his video in my... Let's just see. Yes, I have. So check it out. That's the video we were talking about. If you're watching this on a premiering stream, you've obviously already watched it at the beginning of this show. But check him out. If you haven't subscribed to Mitchell from Australia already, go and subscribe to him. He makes exceptionally good videos. This is not a one-off by Mitchell. It's typical Mitchell from Australia video, but very amusing in the respect that I too have also had my tete-a-tete with Simon Dan in regards to his total lack of understanding with Coriolis, and it was just not gone to the effort of really doing a good edited video and taking his words and putting them in contrast with someone like Neil deGrasse Tyson, which is precisely what Mitchell did. So big props to you, my friend.
Hey, did you notice, Nathan, that he covered the top three in his special way?
I did at the end, yeah. He's obviously a fan of the show. I'm not saying he's done it because of us. He's his own man and all the rest of it. But by the same token, you can hear some flat Earth debate aspects coming through in terms of his language, and it just makes me smile. I'm like, good. I hope there's more people that go out there and just put these arguments in the concise way that Mitchell does, because you'll pummel people.
Yep.
Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of said presupposed spherical Earth?
No, just a few interpretations from seismographs and squiggles on paper. That's about it. P waves and S waves, timings.
That was the fastest coffee anyone ever.
Yeah, that was quick.
Yeah. The kettle was already boiled, so I just had to put milk in and, the usual. But P waves and S waves are the best they've got. An interpretation of squiggles on a paper or an algorithm on a computer. No actual evidence of anything below 8 miles. That's it.
What else haven't we covered? I'm sure I've missed one.
Vacuum?
No, I've covered the vacuum. Any evidence of axial rotation?
Oh, right.
I suppose we just covered that with Mitchell, really, didn't we? That was in respect to axial rotation of the Earth-based variety. I think we've covered them all indirectly. That's it. That concludes the housekeeping questions.
So what do we do now, then?
Well, I'm going to plug my show that I've got. I'm just about to premiere it, or set the premiere time for when this live show finishes. So be here or be Sphere at 3 p.m. UK time for... Oh, I've just got the working title. Damn it, it's just going to end up working with the working title. So I've put it... Thunderfoot demonstrated stupid at the intermolecular level. Let's repeat that. Thunderfoot demonstrated stupid at the intermolecular level. That's the name of the video, and let's just click save, and then I'll get the link and spam it in the chat. So that's going to premiere at 3 p.m. as soon as this live show finishes. So be here or be Sphere. Go and check it out once the live stream finishes. I've scheduled it now, and as I say, I'll put a link in the live stream chat, so you can go and check it out once the live stream finishes, and I'll spam it again towards the end, hopefully, if I remember. But I've taken a lot of time over it. It's probably more editing than I've ever done on any video ever. But there we go. It was worth it. Thunderfoot's got 1 million subs. They need to know he's a complete moron. It's worth the effort, in my view. He's my bitch. It's worth the effort.
I'd like to highlight what happened with Rumpus for everyone. You asked for a demonstration, and all he did was give descriptions, but no demonstration. No physical proof, nothing that you can test.
Yeah, it's the same with the Coriolis argument. When you ask them for positive evidence for the apparent deflection that we all must observe from our rotating reference point, they don't give any. They give explanations to do with, well, it's because the latitude and the rate of rotation is X and Y and different. and we don't want to see that. We want to see the actual evidence, the positive evidence of apparent deflection from our Earth-based rotation, because they've got to deviate. And if it's north to south flights, there's got to be a curved trajectory. If it's east to west flights, it's got to be faster in perception of time from our perspective. We don't see that, though. So rather than addressing the evidence that's missing, they start excusing why the evidence is not there, rather than demonstrating why it is there and the correction that's made for it. They're arguing our arguments for us, not realising it's our arguments.
Yep, it's consistent throughout the entire globe Earth, flat Earth debate. Where's your edge? Boats go over the edge, you say? Where is it? What's the response? You flat earthers have got boats going over the edge. What the hell? What's going on? The weakest part of your argument is the claim that we have Earth curve, actually an effective perspective in atmospheric conditions, which you assert with a debunking from your own side that we don't have geometric horizons. That's Earth curve. So what's the response? We get challenged to give them an Earth curve, an edge, of a disk model provided by the Flat Earth Society. What about Coriolis? Earth turns underneath at 15 degrees an hour according to the ball Earth claim that Earth spins. Well, nothing's deviating at 15 degrees an hour. Flight times aren't shortened because Earth's turning underneath them. Drones aren't drifting away at 15 degrees an hour. But yet Neil deGrasse Tyson says that's exactly what happens. The ball gets kicked and the goalposts move underneath the ball. That's the claim. But it doesn't get demonstrated in anything other than these short hang time assertions from priests being interviewed by sycophants who won't challenge them in any way, shape or form, or point out that if Earth turns under a football, then it turns under an aeroplane and a drone and a hot air balloon. And obviously we don't experience those things. It's nonsense. Earth is not rotating. And as Mitchell from Australia points out, if Earth rotating under the inertial reference frame with the stars in it is what causes them to go in a circle, why the hell would we ever see it from the ISS? They're debunking their own claim that's supposed to be proving it spins by showing we haven't got these two separate reference frames.
Yeah. I want to know which one is correct, because Simon Dan is quoted by Mitchell, and he's doing it on screen. He's saying that the plane is rotating with the Earth. But Neil deGrasse Tyson states that when the field goal is kicked, the Earth turns underneath the ball. So which one is it? Is it Simon Dan that's correct, or is it Neil deGrasse Tyson? Because one of them, they're both opposing arguments, both cannot be true. Now,
Close to the
I did a quick calculation, and I tweeted. The winning field goal in that game was aided by a 1/3 of an inch deflection to the right from Earth's rotation.
This must be embarrassing for you, Simon and Dan, not knowing how your own globe model works.
Yep. It seems that no matter what they do, so long as they address it in any way with ridicule, it doesn't matter what they say, so long as they apply ridicule, they just keep confusing the audience to what their model should be doing and what it is actually doing. And so long as they keep ridiculing, doesn't matter what they say, as long as they can ridicule, that's it.
Yeah, next example, gas pressure without a container. Neil deGrasse Tyson telling you all about how science is right whether you prove it or not, only to simultaneously tell you these lights in the sky are physical rocks in a sky vacuum. What do we get as a rebuttal? What's the dome made out of? No, hold on, we're breathing gas pressure. There must be containment. I have no idea what the sky is, nor do I make any assertions in that regard, but I understand the second law of thermodynamics. The entropy dictates that if the sky was a vacuum, the gas we're breathing would fill it. Now, gas doesn't have an exclusively downward vector. It does not go down, go boom, boom, like solid, bonded, bouncy balls. This downward vector requires you to infer your fundy belief in gravity when talking about how gas behaves. Now, Rumpus earlier on in the show, to make this assertion, says it behaves with weight. You can put it on a scale. What, without a container? Oh no, without the container, the gas would fill the space. That's entropy. That's how gas behaves. But they will challenge us to prove that this is a sky dome. I'm not making any claim about that, but there is one asserted by the controlled opposition. They'll assert we've got a dome. Well, I don't make that claim. I just know that we need containment to have gas pressure here. Without the container, there can be no pressure. Not, where's your dome? Oh, well, if there isn't a sky vacuum, why would we need a dome? I don't make any claims about what the sky is. Why would I? Yeah? I'm not telling you what heaven is. Neil deGrasse Tyson's telling you all about what heaven is, though. Star Wars version of heaven. Sky vacuum. A violation of natural law.
I like it the way Mitchell cut his video and edited where Neil starts off with no, and then he says, I did a quick calculation and I tweeted.
Yeah, I didn't catch that bit
great.
actually. I'm tempted to just play that bit again just because it's prior to Neil deGrasse Tyson saying no, we actually get to heal Simon Dan's incorrect assertion.
How do I... Only joking, Mitchell. Your drone remains in the rotating reference frame.
So then there's no Coriolis effect. If it remains in the rotating reference frame, then you don't have 15 degrees an hour deviation of the Earth rotating underneath the drone. That's Coriolis effect, Simon Dan. The claim that we have 15 degrees an hour deviation as Earth rotates underneath. So if it stays in the rotating reference frame, you're merely begging the question, assuming that Earth is rotating and the atmosphere is rotating with it. That doesn't give you a Coriolis claim to be proof of Earth spinning. It's just you begging the question. You moron. Yeah,
Do you know what? I made an error. Because Simon Dan has said the opposite to Neil deGrasse Tyson, I actually thought it would be a good test of somebody that's like a third party on their side, just to play one off the other. And I actually thought that Fight the Flat Earth would be somebody useful here to correct one of the other. You know, like if Simon Dan's correct, then he could support him and point out that Neil deGrasse is incorrect. Or he could correct Neil deGrasse Tyson, or whichever way around. And I realised once he started talking in message that he just needs to go back on block, because I actually thought foolishly that Fight the Flat Earth would have some element of scientific supporting argument one way or the other. But what I actually got back from him was, you're too stupid and don't understand. So I just put him back on block. So I made an error. I actually thought somebody that's prolific in their side would be able to address this confusion that Simon Dan appears to have with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I'll do it with their words. It's no problem. 15 degrees an hour, Simon Dan. Let's just have him make his claim and re-rebut it on the spot.
How do I... Only joking, Mitchell. Your drone remains in the rotating reference frame.
It's supposed to drift at 15 degrees an hour. You are a moron! Don't you know about the 15 degrees an hour? You think it stays in the same reference frame? What about the 15 degrees an hour claim that Earth rotates underneath, Simon? Are you unaware of the 15 degrees an hour? You stupid retard! There you go. How was that, Anthony?
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant. I was hoping that Fight the Flat Earth would be able to address it, but he just resorted to ridicule and insult and stupidity and all that kind of nonsense. So
we can do that too. Simon Dan and Fight the Flat Earth are complete retards. Simon Dan here doesn't seem to realise that he's supposed to have 15 degrees an hour. Hasn't he heard this? Quoted by morons on his own side at nausea? 15 degrees an hour, Simon Dan! Haven't you heard about the 15 degrees an hour? Haven't you heard that Bob Nodell proved Earth's turning underneath the drone? You stupid dick! Yeah, it's really easy to ridicule them for actual stupidity, Anthony.
Hey, Nathan, I'd like to bring up your excellent Black Swan versus Refraction video that you put out over the weekend.
I've forgotten what that was, but tell me. Yeah, sure, great. I love praise.
Yeah, you put the comedy hour with QE and singing at the end of that one. You remember that one?
Oh, yes. Yes, I do.
Okay. Now, the most important part of that video is the first part where you broke down when the ballers have to use refraction, which is what we've been saying all along. And they have to, in a sense, throw under the bus their physical geometric horizon. So let me make the bullet points and then give us a good summary again. So they say Al-Biruni measured the physical geometric horizon with the radius of 3959, which is how we get everything. Everything. But not possible if Al-Biruni saw a refracted horizon. Now, Al-Biruni never accounted for refraction. So obviously, he saw the horizon on that particular day at a particular time. But an hour later or a day later, it would change. So then they say, well, he was within 5% of it, meaning the physical geometric horizon. Well, what 5%? The hour later, 5%, a day later, 5%, that would have changed all the time. So the Earth radius has to be a stable 3959 for it to be geometric. And so he could never see the physical geometric horizon because it can't be seen, because they say you need no atmo day to be seen. So it's such a great argument, if you could summarize.
Yeah, I mean, you've missed an important detail about the video itself. I mean, the first section, the first 4 minutes, it wouldn't have got me mid-roll ads, so I had to add that bit on the end. You know, times are tough. Need the mid-roll ads. 8 minutes minimum.
All right. Well, let's get to that summary, because I think if every flat earther could understand when they say refraction, they're actually saying, welcome me to flat earth.
Yeah, what we're being told in rebuttal to the Black Swan is, quote, we do not see the geometric horizon, end quote. Quote, the geometric horizon only exists in maths, end quote. Quote, we wouldn't expect to see geometry, end quote. That geometry is Earth curve. The Earth curve that is claimed to get in the way of boats and buildings in the distance at the horizon. The horizon is claimed to be the Earth curve blocking your view with its physicality. We are simultaneously told that we do not see Earth curve, we wouldn't expect to see Earth curve cannot be seen, and Earth curve only exists in Earth curve maths. Therefore, when told that you can get within 5% of it, within 5% of the maths that they assume, because you can't see it, to measure it, to get within 5% of it. It can't be seen to measure it, to confirm you within 5% of it. As for the claim that goes along with it, that you can then confirm it from space, that would require a violation of the natural law that is entropy. You're not going to be taking pictures of a sphere Earth from a fake place that would leave us with no gas to breathe. So Al-Biruni can't see and cannot measure a geometric horizon to give you the maths, to give you R, to claim that that very R value when applied with 7/6R terrestrial refraction will bend the horizon into a position that is within 5% of the maths that you can't measure. It's the death of the globe. Earth is flat.
Well done.
And just notice as well that rather than addressing where the positive evidence for the deflection actually is supposed to be, they're making excuses for why it's not there, but they don't tell you that it should be there. They make excuses for why it's not there, and then everybody argues for why it isn't there. But that's our argument. They don't tell people that that's our argument. They claim that it's theirs. No, you need to be showing us where the Coriolis effect is, not arguing for why it's not there. That's us. Stupid.
Yeah, Simon Dan, back to Simon Dan, the clown that doesn't understand 15 degrees an hour, is saying that they're travelling together. So, no 15 degrees an hour of Earth turning underneath, proving Earth's turning underneath, so I can prove Earth's turning. They travel as one, and I just assume it all travels together with absolutely no effect whatsoever to determine that Earth's rotating underneath at 15 degrees an hour. At a base level, Simon Dan's just thick as shit. He doesn't understand Coriolis. I've told him multiple times, stop talking about Coriolis, Simon Dan. You're thick. You have no clue even about what your claim of a globe Earth requires. 15 degrees an hour deviation of Earth rotating underneath, Simon Dan. Not Earth travelling with a drone in the same reference frame. You moron clown. You're all dumb. Don't you understand what 15 degrees an hour of Earth rotating underneath is? That's Coriolis effect, you stupid muppet.
He used to explain it away by saying conservation of momentum. Do you remember the trampoline on the back of the tractor video that somebody showed? But when you do that both ways, you end up demonstrating that the Coriolis effect would be there and we don't see it real world. So they can't use conservation of momentum anymore, because if the tractor's pulling it right now, right? If the tractor was if he was pushing it the opposite way, the plane, and he's traveling the same direction that he is in the picture now, then there is going to be an apparent deflection because you would see it. but we don't see it in the real world. So they don't argue conservation of momentum anymore. I think we're back to ballistics, the arguments over ballistics against non-ballistic flight. I think that's how they're doing it at the moment.
Let's just break this down. This is what Simon Dan sent to me via Twitter. So, again, Simon Dan, this, like your Twitter claim, is there's no 15 degrees an hour deviation of the tractor underneath. This is showing us it not deviating at 15 degrees an hour, and not actual deflection. So no, not actual deflection of the tractor underneath at 15 degrees an hour. That's what Coriolis requires to prove we're spinning. 15 degrees an hour of the Earth rotating underneath. Yet Simon Dan tweets this to me. You're supposed to have deflection, Simon Dan. Like you're supposed to have deflection when you claim the drone remains in the same reference frame. Well, then it's not drifting at 15 degrees an hour, you clown. You don't understand Coriolis. Why are you still talking about Coriolis effect when you don't understand what it is?
As long as he can argue it for his own audience and sound like he knows what he's talking about, the audience is left confused that they think that Simon Dan's explained it. They don't understand it as a result of it. But we all understand that there needs to be the apparent deflection from the Earth-based position. But like you said, if they're not showing the apparent deflection, then there is no Coriolis. And in that trampoline video, he's not showing apparent deflection from the Earth's rotation position.
Right, 15 degrees an hour, Simon Dan. That's what you're supposed to be showing to prove Earth spins. You thicko. This is why these people don't come here. Because Simon Dan would get an absolute tongue lashing like he's getting now. Just not with him sat here. Because he's an abject coward. He'll preach to the converted. People who've already been indoctrinated from birth are about the level of appeal that he can appeal to. He can only talk to people who've been absolutely and totally indoctrinated with the rhetoric that he's giving them. And in rebuttal, he's defying that very rhetoric by saying we don't have 15 degrees an hour deviation, the very thing that's supposed to prove Earth spins. He's defying. He's thick. He'd get told off by flat earthers if he ever came here. That's why he won't.
Can't. Not won't. Can't.
You can't come here, Dan, because you'll get told off by flat earthers. And it would be humiliating with me asking you how we have 15 degrees an hour then, when the drone stays in the same reference frame. And what would you do? Look and roll your eyes and say, I don't think I've got a response to that, as I teabag your stupid ass. You're a thicko, Simon Dan. You haven't got a clue how Coriolis works, and you would be told off by flat earthers were you to ever actually enter into debate with anybody ever, which you never will. You'll appeal to the brainwashed, indoctrinated masses because you don't have to train them or educate them in anything. All you actually do is make yourself look stupid when you get it wrong. 15 degrees an hour, moron.
Hey, Anthony.
Yo.
I've answered this ballistic one before. If their argument is north to south, if you shoot, say, a sniper rifle. Now, if the Earth is turning west to east in your mind, say left to right for this illustration, 15 degrees per hour, then if you take a certain type of ballistics, depending on the gunpowder, your bullet is going to be traveling feet per second. Now, you would have to aim right of your target because it's moving west to east, okay, left to right. Anywhere from 750 feet to 1,500 feet in advance when you fire, hoping that as the Earth turns in that second, that target appears where you aimed at a no target. That never happens, ever.
The way I see that argument, it's a red herring argument anyway, because whether it's ballistic flight or not, if the Earth is supposed to be rotating under it, being ballistic or otherwise, then there still has to be apparent deflection. There is no apparent deflection, so it doesn't matter whether it's ballistic.
No, I know, but you can kill their argument right there with their own stupidity. You have to aim away from your target where you think it's going to be in 1 second for a mile shot. And you're not aiming at anything. You're just hoping it gets there when the bullet gets there. No one does that.
I know, yeah. It's like when you play football. If you're running down the wing and you're going to cross the ball in, you've got to not cross it into where your man is when you look. You've got to try and cross it into where you think your man's going to be by the time the ball gets there. That's the Coriolis effect, essentially. In football, you're both running together and you're both moving. You've got to aim your trajectory to land where he's going to be by the time he gets there, right? Well, it's supposed to be the same with the Earth rotating. If you're going to aim at your target and the Earth's moving, you've got to aim where you think it's going to be by the time your bullet gets there. And nobody does it like that.
Just to point one thing out, though. That is correct if you take the assumption that Earth is spinning. That's not Coriolis effect that you've just detailed, though. The Coriolis effect would be the footballer looking at the ball after it's been thrown and saying, hey, you know what? That ball is travelling straight, but because I'm spinning underneath it, it looks like it's curving. That's Coriolis effect.
Yeah.
Not only that, hang on, Anthony, there's something wrong with that illustration. In football, American football, I've thrown the ball. I've been a receiver, both ends, quarterback, receiver, even in soccer too, or English football. You're leading your player. You know where he's going to be. He's actually running there. The earth he's running on isn't moving.
Yeah, I suppose it's inverted the opposite way around. But the point I'm making is that when you've got something moving, they go over something that's not moving. You've got to calculate for that. But we never see flights being adjusted. Like I said in my video recently, you don't see planes heading towards France to get to America. Because by the time they get to the southerly direction, America's shimmied across and scrolled across to you. It doesn't happen. They just fly to America.
Well, that's my point in your ballistics and the football is if they use your football analogy, which was weak to begin with, and I know they use it, then you got to say, great, then let's go to a rifle range, and I want you to lead your target by 1,500 feet on a mile shot. Let's see how many times you hit it. I bet you everything I have, he'll never hit it.
Correct. Because there is no adjustment. There is no apparent deflection. The only thing that affects bullets is a little bit of turbulence along the way, a little bit of low pressure fluctuations or a bit of wind or whatever, but there's nothing to do with anything moving, because if there was, you'd never be able to hit anything.
There's several things that can affect the bullet: temperature, wind, and the amount of gunpowder and the velocity. And that's why they have a spotter, and they've tested all these things under different wind conditions, and that's why the spotter will say, aim a little here, do a little that, because the bullet's going to be falling down as it loses speed.
Yeah, Coriolis is getting more and more concise in terms of how we demolish it, how we can pull it apart, and, hats off to Anthony. He's getting sharper and sharper in terms of his ability to debunk this, and I hope you don't mind me saying this, Anthony, but in days gone by, you've said, I don't like this, I just don't want to talk about it, it's not my subject, right? Now you're into it, and the more people like yourself and Mitchell get into it, the more concise it'll become throughout this arena generally. So I'm very grateful, because it was QE, he was on his own, and it was me and QE, and you feel very lonely arguing this subject in the weeds for an hour, and then 50 minutes, and then 40, and then 30. Over the course of about 2 years, it's got down to the point now where we can pull apart someone's claim in about 10 seconds. Like with Simon Dan. What's that? They're both in the same reference frame. A, no Coriolis effect then. B, that's not 15 degrees an hour of Earth turning underneath. C, you're a moron, Simon Dan. That was quick. They're on the losing side of this argument, the Globeheads. And since 2020, January 1st, Black Swan's arrival, it's all downhill from here. There was a reasonable amount of wiggle room and obfuscation opportunity prior to the Black Swan. Now there isn't. The argument is uncomplicated by this argument. You need geometry, you haven't got it. Your own rebuttal debunks your claim that we've got physical geometry blocking boats and buildings. That's the end of the globe Earth assertion. No Earth curve. Your own side says no Earth curve, can't see it. Only exists in maths. So it's just a reification fallacy. We've said it all along, but now we've proven it. So what else you got? Pictures from space? No, debunked. Gas would fill the space. Entropy law. Natural law dictates the gas would fill the space if it was a sky vacuum. What else you got? Coriolis effect. According to Simon Dan, we won't see 15 degrees an hour of Earth turning underneath. He assumes Earth spinning when we don't see deflection. Well, beyond his assumption that they're spinning together, again in violation of how gas behaves, gas is unbonded, not velcroed to Earth, and north, south and west surface winds would debunk that notion. It's not travelling with Earth. Wind isn't velcroed. That's not how gas behaves either. So your assumption that they're travelling together is debunked by gas law, and your assumption debunks the claim we've got Coriolis effects, Simon Dan. So we don't have an Earth that spins, there's no Coriolis deflection to be observed. We don't have any pictures from space. The sky is not a vacuum, it stands in violation of the second law of thermodynamics. And we don't have Earth curve, we're told by the rebuttals from the globe side. We don't see Earth curve. That's it. What else you got? Earth's flat and motionless.
I'll tell you, just by Rumpus coming in and having the subject be gravity, he avoided the top three, right? He avoided Earth-based Coriolis, he avoided gas pressure without containment, and he avoided the number one, black swan, no geometric physical horizon. He decided to go to a fourth one, gravity, because he can't debunk the first three with any confidence, and he thinks he could debunk gravity, and he lost miserably on the fourth one. Can you imagine if he ever took on number one black swan?
He's one of the quotes. The geometric horizon only exists in the maths. That's a Rumpus quote. Only exists in maths. It's supposed to be blocking boats and buildings. Here we are on screen now with what debunked their religion of a sphere Earth with their own claim that we do not see the requirement of a tangent point to a physical sphere edge that formally block things in the distance. That's this point here, the tangent point, that Al-Biruni said he measured to give him R. Well, now we don't see it. We don't have tangent points in geometry. We're told it's a donkey dick bent to a different point. Atmospheric refraction, which requires R. 7/6R is what they're telling you, bends the light at the presupposed rate of the sphere itself, even though we cannot see the actual physical obstruction they used to say blocks boats and buildings. That cannot be seen, wouldn't be expected to be seen, only exists in the maths, therefore can't be measured to give you R to bend the light at the rate of the curve you were assuming in the first instance. Total annihilation of the globe Earth claim. The black swan has destroyed your fundy faith from within the assumption. Where you used to say, oh, of course it's okay to just automatically assume I'm stood on a sphere. Well, now you can't, because we've left the mathematics untenable with the black swan. Boom! Game over globe. Downhill from here. Just a question of how long it'll take you to understand that. That'll be you fundy morons that don't get when your model's dead. Your model being a reification fallacy, a fallacy. The assumption of R being a fallacy, begging the question. And the begging the question reification having been gone into within the mathematical properties and debunked from within by the black swan as being fundamentally impossible to have geometry in the first instance. Rebuttal from the globe side? Well, you wouldn't expect to see geometry. Meaning you wouldn't expect to see Earth curve. It only exists in maths. Earth curve only exists when we turn the world side on and exclude perspective and call it Earth curve. That's when you see Earth curve in mathematics.
Yep. Hey, Anthony, you there?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember the very first time Rumpus came on to debate the Black Swan? You and Ranty, 2.5 hours. And his final answer was, that photograph has to be a glitch in the matrix.
Really?
I remember that. It was awesome. He ran
what
out
was
of
the thing?
all.
What was the thing he was referring to when he said, we don't see blah, blah, blah. And then literally the next sentence was, we do.
That's the geometric horizon. We asked him if we could see the geometric horizon. He told us that we could not and would not expect to see something that only exists in maths. And then we pointed out that Al-Biruni should be measuring it. He said, we do see the geometric horizon. The contradiction in terms that is globe Earth mathematics. You can't simultaneously be geometric physical capable of measurement by Al-Biruni and non-physical, non-measurable, only existing in maths. That violates the law of non-contradiction. And that little gem from Rumpus was him doing precisely that. Telling you that it's both physical, capable of blocking boats and buildings, and non-physical, only existing in geometry. Good Monday show. Stay tuned if you're watching on the Nathan Oakley or Nathan Oakley 1980 programming streams. There will be an after show to follow when I round out in a few minutes' time. In the meantime, if you are watching this live, I'm spamming the chat with a clown show debunking of Thunderfoot, which has been carefully edited and put together with me this morning. So that'll premiere as soon as this live show ends, so 3 p.m. UK time. So be here or be Sphere on the Nathan Oakley 1980 channel. If you're watching this on either premiering stream of this particular show, then this has already gone out and will be on the playlist at the top of the Nathan Oakley 1980 channel. So check it out. It's called Thunderfoot Demonstrated Stupid at an Intermolecular Level. It'll premiere as soon as this live stream finishes. Anything anybody got to add before I do actually round out?
How many microstates in that intermolecular level are there?
Let's not get into those sorts of details. We need to keep it dumbed right down for Thunderfoot. Don't talk about microstates. He thinks gas behaves like solid, bonded, bouncy balls and go down with an exclusive vector, as opposed to expand in all directions as per gas law. Any more for any more?
No, that's about it, dude.
You're supposed to give me a cliffhanger to keep people enticed, should they be watching on the premiering stream. Thank you very much indeed, Anthony Riley. With that, I will say a huge, massive, enormous thank you first and foremost to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's live show possible. Of course, a massive thank you to all of you in the live stream audience for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out the premiering stream that's going out now on Nathan Oakley 1980, which is a debunking of the second response from Thunderfoot. Again, if you're watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. I've been Nathan Oakley and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!